Hey everyone, this content may be obscene and or explicit, so just a warning. This is just us being us. But what I was referring to is when I first came to North Carolina, I had well, you had the North Carolina was helping out the New Mexico, remember? Or was it the New
Yeah,
Mexico helping out the North Carolina?
it would have been New Mexico up in North Carolina, but I was trying to remember exactly when you got there because we were helping the Texas for a while, so I don't know if that's when it was or
Well, I
yeah, New
remember.
Mexico augmented us.
Yeah, so MM1, he was on my first boat, and
Yeah,
do you remember?
yeah,
Fucking short, stout motherfucker, dude. He was a fucking rock. I used to wrestle this motherfucker all the time. And when he found out that I was going to North Carolina, he told me, "Hey man, you weren't a bitch on the MSP, so when you go to North Carolina, you can't be a bitch on that North Carolina. So what you got to do is when you get to North Carolina, find the biggest badass mechanic and whoop his ass." And I was like, all
how'd
right.
that go for you?
I mean, I don't know. I thought it went rather well for myself actually. But so I get to the North Carolina and fucking one giving me a tour of the boat, and I he gets to the apartment and there's two mechanics in the river, and looks at me and he's like, "This is the one." And I was like, oh, "Okay." And then I kind of finished my tour or whatever, and I eventually met later, and I'm like, "Hey man, we gotta have go time. I gotta fucking take you out. I gotta fucking tap you out." Kind of what was your response? You gotta.
I don't even remember what my response was. I
I
probably laughed at you though.
Yeah, it was exactly that. He laughed. He was like, "Fucking kid, what are you coming at me like this?" So I orchestrated this fucking event, and we were still in this fucking building that uh like when we were in new construction, we couldn't live on the boat, so we fucking worked out of this fucking building. God, it was probably like fucking like 2 miles away from the goddamn boat, as long as fucking as far as fuck. But it had three decks, and on the third deck, what the fuck was on the third deck? It was like birthing and shit.
Yeah, like birthing and training classrooms.
Yeah, it was nothing on the fucking third deck that was like of any importance or whatever. So it was usually pretty empty. No chiefs or officers usually hung out up there, and I caught Clint. Man, it had to have been after like something we were doing, and I was like, "Hey, don't go anywhere, man. I need to whoop your ass real quick." And or do you remember like how I approached you?
I don't remember how you approached me. I remember the event because I remember that I had a fucking broken collarbone at the time from a motorcycle accident.
He did, man. It was super fucking impressive, but I didn't know he had a fucking broken collarbone until after the fucking fact, which is uh, insanely impressive or whatever. But I mean, after all the boat shit, like when he crushed fucking Joel's skull in front of or whatever, and he crumbled or whatever, like you kind of get like why it wasn't a big deal to him or whatever. But it was fucking the third deck, and I was like, "Hey man, we gotta have go time." And he was like, I'll entertain this uh, for five
I
seconds."
remember I was up there when you did it.
Yeah, and super excited about the whole thing. And so I remember like going after it, and this had to have been probably the most embarrassing go time I've ever had in my life. And I went toe to toe with a couple times, and it was pretty embarrassing too, but not like this. And this isn't even the most embarrassing go time I've ever had with. It's probably the second most embarrassing. And we fucking I go to go time, And he's like, all right, I'll entertain you. And I shoot in, and I grab his like right leg or whatever, and I'm like trying to knock this fucking tree over, and he kind of like we fucking like kind of wrestle a little bit or whatever, and eventually I get down on his back, and then I had space, and I fucking jumped on him, and this motherfucker caught me like a fucking like a barbell in a bench press and just threw me. Like I jumped and then fucking fly off this motherfucker. 3 times I jump on this motherfucker, he catches me and throws me the fuck off. Eventually he like gets to his fucking feet. I go in to shoot again, and then he like balled me into this pretzel and then smashed me on the fucking ground underneath to the point where I tapped. But the weird ass fucking shit about it was this motherfucker had a broken collarbone and was bench pressing 100. I was about 150, 150-pound person 3 fucking times into the fucking air. And I swear to God, I wasn't like, I'm gonna crawl on him. I jumped on this motherfucker. He caught me and then threw me off. Like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna challenge the 150 ruling. I think probably not.
What,
I think
Yeah, I don't
145?
think so.
I'm not, Clint. I'm not trying to take away from your strength. I totally think you could handle 150 just like 140. But just for Will's sake, and the fact that we talked earlier about the biggest scanner competition and how he couldn't never gain weight, like there's no way you're 150.
Dude, I've been about 145 to 155 since I was 18.
Yeah, and I'm saying like when you used to gel your hair and you had your beard shaved, you were 140. That's all I'm saying. Like 145. I'll give you 145. That's fine.
Wait a minute, I used to gel my hair?
Yeah, you did.
Absolutely, you used to gel your hair.
What do you mean? How did I gel it?
But I don't really know how to answer that question with gel.
I'm assuming with hair gel, but I mean, it could have been anything.
I mean, I heard that semen has the same effect, so
Wait, what was my hairstyle?
and when we were in Newport News, it was like I don't know, it's kind of like just mixed up a little bit.
Mixed up?
Yeah, you just kind of did one of these things probably, and then went to work, and
Yeah, it was like pre-hipster.
yeah, it was
Oh.
back in utility days. Man. Back in utility days.
All right, I'll take that. Still,
Yeah.
I want to know how the fuck you bench pressed me 3 fucking times with a broken collarbone, man.
Well, you were like, let's see, at that time, I was probably like 230. So I mean, even on your high estimate of weight, you were working like 80 pounds above your weight class. So
Yeah, I thought you were slow. I honestly don't know what the fuck I was getting into. I was really just trying to live up to expectations. Really got myself into some shit. Found out the hard way. The biggest mechanic on the boat was not to be fucked with.
well, you gotta like the king of the jungle doesn't go out and swipe everybody every day. He just waits until he needs to.
Right.
You ever see that bit from Christopher Walken about the lion?
Fuck yeah,
Pool
pool
hall
hall
junkies?
junkies. Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
man. I love that fucking movie, man. Hey, if you like this stuff and want to hear more, let us know. Hit us up. Like it, subscribe. We'll do our part.